set an example.
Justin.
I wanted to loop back on you saying that the president never been briefed. There's, I think, some dispute over whether in February his PDB included this intelligence information. So I'm wondering if you can say whether or not, he may not have read the briefing book that he was presented with, but was he at some point at least given access to this information?
So the PDB is a top secret document that is widely disseminated among government. I will never sit here and confirm or deny what is in a top secret document. So I'll leave it at that. One thing I will say that is routine is when there is intelligence. I was speaking with some folks over in NSC about this earlier and some other folks around the White House. When we get intelligence, verified or unverified, deemed credible or not credible, deemed consensus or no consensus, if that information in any way impinges upon the safety of our troops, that information goes to our troops on the ground and to our allies so they can take the appropriate measures. What is briefed up to the president in this case was not the case, was never briefed to the president of the United States because there was no consensus. What is briefed to the president is when there's a strategic decision to be made. So in this case, if there was a strategic decision to be made vis-a-vis Russia, those are the kind of things that are briefed to the president when they're deemed credible. But in this case, it was not briefed to the president. There's no consensus. It was not credible. But make no mistake, this president will always protect American troops.
I mean, sorry, just to follow on that, I think there's 2 points. One, I would say that press secretaries in the past have disclosed in certain instances what was in the PDB. But secondly, I mean, this is a relevant issue because I think critics have already seized on this and said, well, if the president isn't reading his PDB, he might not know that there are these policy decisions to be made, right? If a president was presented with this information, it's unverified, he could be alarmed, change his posture towards Russia, conceivably ask intelligence officials to work harder to determine whether or not this was true, make, a series of judgments. And so I guess more broadly, I would re-ask the question of whether it was in his material, but ask you maybe to defend why the president isn't necessarily reading his PDB when there are these types of issues that could arise.
The president does read, and he also consumes intelligence verbally. This president, I'll tell you, is the most informed person on planet Earth when it comes to the threats that we face. You have Ambassador O'Brien, who sees him in person twice a day, who sometimes takes the upwards of half a dozen calls with this president. He's constantly being informed and briefed on intelligence matters, but I'm not going to allow the New York Times to dictate when we give top secret information and don't give top secret information.
I mean,
that's an untenable proposition.
Well, there then.